Hi everyone, this is Leah Gutierrez. I'm a nurse practitioner with House Calls in the San Antonio area, and I've been asked to do a short presentation on how to use Milebug for mileage tracking and concur expense reporting. I've been using this app personally for about 5 or 6 years for my own expense reporting, and I've really found it to be very easy and user-friendly. It is available in the App Store or the Google Play Store for either your iPhone or Android phone. Last time I looked, it was $2.99. That's a one-time purchase though, not a subscription or there's no in-app purchases or anything like that. So this is really affordable. The first thing I want to go over with you on Milebug is just to show you how you would set it up for your initial use so that you can see, get the most out of the app. On the first page here, this is how it will open up when you use it on the first use. And you're just going to hit in the bottom left-hand corner the presets button, and then hit settings and trip settings. You'll notice here that under trip settings, the initial thing that's checked here at the bottom is default origin, and you want to change that to prior trip destination. What that does, it allows where you ended your last trip to show up as the beginning address of your next trip automatically. So that saves you a step every time you use the app. So now that you've done that, we're just going to back out of settings and back out of presets there. I'm going to show you a couple other things and change a couple of things. Under types and rates, I want you to notice that it has the IRS mileage rate that is for 2018. It usually updates. Occasionally, you have to make sure you do an update or update it yourself in January, but generally it updates on its own to the new rate for the coming year. Okay, that's just for your knowledge, so we can back out of there. Under businesses, we want to just select that, and then you'll notice down at the bottom, I've added a business here. It has my name and it says House Calls. So the way you would do that for yourself is just click Add New Business, and then you type in that name there and then click Save. This just shows up on every expense report that you do, so it kind of goes to that business purpose, and it's on every report already for you, so it's very helpful. Okay, once you do that, you can back out of there, and then you want to add your vehicle, so just select Vehicle, and you'll see that I have several vehicles in here that I have used over the years. But you can add a new vehicle and just type in the name of your vehicle and then save it when you do that. And once you've done all that, your app is basically set up and ready to use for trips, and we'll start that on the next slide. So now we're ready to begin entering trips into the system. So we're going to go down to the bottom and click the tab that says Trips, and you'll see several trips in here for Saturday, May 5th, and one for May 6th on Sunday. These are Starbucks addresses, so they're not patient addresses, so there's no HIPAA violation. So we're ready to start adding trips. We're going to hit the plus button at the top right-hand corner, and it opens up a brand new trip for us. And you can see how several pieces of the information are pre-populated in here, and there's several places where we can update or change the information. So first of all, at the top, we have the start time. That automatically pre-populates to the time that I opened or I hit the plus sign on starting the trip. But I can adjust that. In this case, I'm going to adjust that to Sunday, May 6th at 4:30 in the afternoon. And we're going to save that for now. Then I am going to enter, you look down further, there's the business purpose is written there. That's my business name that I put in the presets. The origin address is the address that was the ending address for my previous trip. So it's there for me already. I now need to enter in the destination address. So we're going to go to 4739 Medical Drive and enter that. You may have noticed that as I typed it in, it was already an address listed in the system, and so I just chose it from the list. Of course, if it was not listed, then you just complete typing it out. The purpose is pre-populated here to House Calls Visit. I have created several purposes in here, so I'll show you what you can choose from or what you can add to your list. So if you need to change it, you're going to hit click. House calls visit is my main one, so that's the one it's going to go to automatically. At the end of my day, my purpose of my visit is to return to my home office. I'm not going home for a house calls visit. I'm going home to the home office. I have one chosen here for house calls visit, not home. Some of these addresses are in here in error. Below that, I've gone to a team meeting. I've gone to a training. I have gone to the airport or a hotel for certain reasons, for business reasons. So you can add any new purposes that you would like and just choose from the list what you use. But of course, house calls visit is the one that will be used most often. The vehicle, it's automatically presets to my vehicle that I've previously chosen, and that's going to do that for me each time. And the odometer reading is also at the starting point, or the starting point of the odometer is at the same that I ended it at for my previous trip. So if I'm starting out in the morning, I always need to check that and make sure that's accurate, because if I came home at the end of the day and then I went out to go to dinner or go to the grocery store or something like that, those are personal mileages. So I need to make sure I adjust that mileage for how I'm starting my work day. Throughout the day, as long as I'm continuing to do business trips, I don't need to adjust that mileage. It's going to stay repetitive every time. So this is how I will set it up. I do this right before I leave to go to an appointment. So as I'm entering in the address into my GPS, I'm also entering the address and my start time here, verifying my mileage as well. So once I've entered that in, and I will hit save, and you can see at the top here I have that trip listed, but it is in red. The reason it's in red is because it hasn't been completed. I have not finalized the odometer readings or the mileage on that. So that's how I will leave it, and then I will drive on to my patient visit. Once I arrive at the patient visit, I'll open this up one more time, and I will say, okay, it took me 20 minutes to get there. So it was 4:52 when I arrived, and we have two options here. I can either enter in my actual odometer reading and say that it was 10:060 and hit calculate, and it will calculate to 12 miles. It'll show me that that is a $6.54 travel that I just did. Alternatively, I'm going to delete those for a second. If I look at my odometer and I know how far I went, I can just put in 12 miles and then hit calculate, and it will also do the exact same thing. So it doesn't matter which one I enter, whichever is easier for you to enter to get the information in there is great. The nice thing about this is that it actually takes into account any detours that you have to take, any, if you had to go off the highway because of an accident and take a different route, or there was a construction detour, it gives you the exact mileage that you actually drove to the visit, as opposed to what it is calculated within your the portal when we print out our maps. So now you can save that, and it's completed, and you'll notice that it is no longer red. So that is a completed trip in the system, and you can continue working in that manner throughout your day. This takes only just about 5 to 10 seconds for each patient, maybe 30 seconds total with the start and the stop. It's very, very easy to do. And on the next slide, I'll show you how to submit your reports to Concur for your mileage expense reporting. Okay, so now we're ready to send reports to Concur. I actually do this every 2 weeks. I send each 2 weeks worth of reports to Concur and do one expense report at that time based on the pay periods. So what you're going to do now when you're ready to submit your reports is you're just going to click on reports at the bottom. A lot of information is pre-done here as well, but it's really very simple. All we're going to do is do a start date and an end date for our report. So in this case, I'm going to do a report for each day for Saturday, May 5th and Sunday, May 6th. So we're going to just select May 5th, and the start date is May 5th and the end date is May 5th, and I'm going to hit save. If we want to check and make sure that the expense report looks good and is correct, we can hit preview, and you can actually see the expense report here. It's a little bit hard to see on this screen to see the whole thing, but you can see how it looks. It has all of our business information, a total of 87 miles, and it's got the address of each trip going where we needed to go. So I'm going to go back there. If I didn't want to look at the preview, and I usually don't anymore, once you've selected your date range, you're going to hit the little upload button here on the top right, and it gives you a choice at this point. So I send it by email. And in this case, I'm going to send it to receipts@concur.com. This works as long as you have set up the email that you are sending this from as a verified email in Concur. And I'll show you when we're in Concur where to do that, but it's also very, very easy. You just verify your email, and then anytime you send an email from that email address to this email address, it will automatically populate as an available receipt for you. Many of you may already be doing this with other receipts, I'm not sure, but I wanted to make sure you knew that. So I'm going to send this email automatically to Concur. And so I sent that, and then I will also go ahead and send May 6th, and we'll save that and send again, same thing, receipts, and send. So those emails are completed, and now the next step is just to do our expense report in Concur. Okay, so now we're ready to look at Concur and how Concur will handle the receipts or reports that you send from Milebug. I want to be sure everybody knows how to set up their email address to receive reports from Milebug. So whatever email address is set up on your device where you have Milebug installed, it needs to be verified within Concur. That way, any report you send from Milebug will show up in your available receipts to do your expense reporting. So quickly here, I have got 3 separate screenshots of the Concur app from my computer. And I'm just going to run through these really quickly. At the top, the first thing you'll do is when you're inside the expense tab is click on profile. And then under that, you'll click on profile settings under your name. That'll take you to the second screenshot. And on the far left, you will click on email addresses. And then the last screenshot over on the right, you're going to click add an email address. Go ahead and enter in your email address that you're using from the Milebug app. And you'll have to go through the steps to be sure you actually verify that email through what Concur tells you to do. And that will allow all of your receipts and reports that you send from Milebug to show up in your available receipts in Concur. This is a screenshot of a sample expense report from Concur. This is using the data that we were working with earlier in Milebug and the report that we emailed over. So we emailed that report to receipts@concur.com from my verified email address, and it shows up here in available receipts. This particular report is for May 6th, and we are going to enter the data into the regular expense portion in the center, similar to how you always do it. The big difference here, and this is kind of the big advantage of using the Milebug app, is the from location and the to location is going to be the same. You're going to enter in your home address and in both locations, because this report on the right will start with your home address for the beginning of your day. It will have every trip that you went on for each visit, and then at the end of the day, it has you returning back to your home address. So the beginning of this report starts at your home address and it ends at your home address, and everything that happened in between is all within this receipt or report from Milebug. Just another little trick, since I'm usually enter in 2 weeks worth of expenses at a time, I will type in my home address in the very first box, and then I will go ahead and copy it, and I'll actually just paste it in each of the next reports going forward for that period of time. That makes it very, very easy. So you have to make sure that you have the correct date, that it matches with the Milebug trip report. I will caution you that here at the top of available receipts, in the larger writing where you see Milebug expense report, it says May 5th, even though the down lower actually on the report, it's May 6th. So be careful that you're using the correct date. The date at the top is the date that it was actually received into Concur. So that is a Concur piece of data, and you have to look actually onto the report for the date of the actual report. That's just a little mistake that I have made a few times, and I don't want people to make the same mistake. I've circled here in red on the right where you can see the total miles for your day. In this case, it's 33. And so you just enter that into the distance on your center expense reporting page. And once you've got all those pieces of information in there, then you just use the little green button to attach that report as its receipt to the expense, and you can save it. So finally, what you can see here is that I went ahead and entered the data from May 5th and May 6th with their attached reports from Milebug. What I wanted to point out here is that each day has just one single line on the expense report that you submit, even though all of the trips for that day, including your trip back home, are all represented on the report that's attached to it. I hope you can all see how using Milebug now is very, very helpful in streamlining your expense reporting process, from the real-time data entry where you're entering your addresses and trips while you're doing them throughout the day, to the ease of Concur reporting with the reports that encompass your entire day at a time. I put together this recording this way so that it can be shared where you can watch it again if you're actually trying to use Milebug later and kind of forget what I went over. And I feel free to contact me with any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them for you.